I want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties we've had this morning. We are up on the roof here at WFAA talking to Tim Murtaugh, President Trump's 2020 Communications Director. We were talking about the potential Democratic rivals he will face in the upcoming election. All of those rivals were very critical of his decision to withdraw troops from Syria. And that's a situation where you've had a lot of criticism on both sides of the aisle. Democrats and Republicans have been very vocal about that. Was pulling those troops out of Syria a mistake?
Well, the president was very clear about his intention to keep America out of these endless wars. That's something he talked about as a candidate, and it's something he's talked about in 3 years of being president. So I think this is definitely in line with that. And he also is very insistent that other countries begin to carry some of the burden in these international conflicts. And again, that is in line with this. We don't, as the campaign, we're the political arm. We don't get involved in questions of national security like that. It would not be appropriate. But I would say his decision in Syria is very much in line with all of the principles that he has always laid forward, both as a candidate and as 3 years as commander-in-chief.
Certainly running any campaign is difficult, always an uphill battle, and now you've got the impeachment inquiry as well to deal with. How much has that been a challenge on the campaign trail? I
wouldn't say it has been a challenge. I would say it has in fact fired up the president's supporters and even independents. People don't like it, and especially here in Texas. Texans value people who shoot straight, and they don't like it when the other side loses and then tries to change the rules, and that's what's going on here. This is an invalid, illegitimate, partisan attempt to overthrow a legitimately elected president of the United States, and they're doing all these things in secret. They're hiding witnesses. They're not allowing the minority party in the House, Republicans, to have access to these witnesses and be a full party to the proceedings. It's completely illegitimate. This is not the House of Representatives or Congress considering impeaching the President of the United States. This is the Democrat Party doing this. And Americans see that.
But you have seen a shift in the polls recently where more and more people say they support the inquiry. Does that worry you?
Well, no. At first, those polls are extremely flawed. You have to look into what's behind the numbers in there. When you start with 48% of people in a poll being Democrats, it's not too hard to get to 51% supporting impeachment if you start with 48% Democrats. The fact is, independents are still with the president. They oppose this, and Republicans are wildly with the president. It is strictly Democrats who are pushing this, and if you're talking about throwing out the President of the United States on strictly partisan reasons, you cannot have one political party doing that and overruling the rest of the country. That's just not the function.
Real quickly, big rally tonight. Folks lining up already outside the American Airlines Center. They've been there for a couple of days. What can they expect to hear from the president this evening?
They can expect a really big, energized party there at American Airlines Center. And overnight, a couple of nights is what we see when we go town to town with these rallies. People camp out on the sidewalk. It's tremendous. And the president is going to give a big, enthusiastic speech. He's going to talk about the great economy here in Texas. He's going to talk about winning, keep winning for America. Trade deals are very important, especially to a border state like Texas. USMCA is something that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats have got to pass in Congress, and I think you'll hear the president talking an awful lot about that. And of course, you know, he always is still fighting the battle against illegal immigration, and I think you'll probably hear him talk a little bit. He might bring up the fact that the Democrats are trying to throw him out of office too. You never know.
I can imagine. Now, we've heard him go sometimes as long as 90 minutes. Over or under tonight? You want to make a prediction?
Oh, gosh, I learned a long time ago not to try to predict what the president is going to do or say. So I would say right on that number. Right.
90 minutes. Yeah. Boy, without a teleprompter. Way to go. Hey, Tim Murtaugh, thank you very much for your time. Director of Communications for President Trump's 2020 campaign. I want to send it back to Jesse, who is weighing in on today's weather. Jesse?